Welcome back to another episode of Every Degree Matters. I'm your host Saffran Minhar. Today we're going to talk about a lot of crazy things that has happened in the last week. We also saw the U.S Iran peace talk failed in Islamabad, and we saw one of the moments in Eastern Europe, Hungary, where 16 years of reign, Viktor Orbán lost the election for his for his own party member, which he was together before, and they separated. For Péter Magyar, and it's crazy how it's changing. We also saw that two sitting U.S. congressmen resigned over allegations related to sexual abuse and rape and yada yada yada. And one of them was Eric Swalwell, and the other one was Tony Gonzales. So it's crazy what has happened. We also saw the fight between the Pope Leo, the Holiness, and then also with Trump. He's mocking him, saying he's weak. So let's get into the topics and dive in and go through it. And you wanna write it down? Would it kill you just to listen? And you wanna sell it out with the words out of your position. Hold on. And you wanna see the break of dawn. The words you have from your face. You won't see me when Thank you for joining Every Degree Matters. I'm your host Saffran Minhar. First, let's talk about the what happened to two congressmen that resigned last week due to the allegations of sexual allegations and misconduct, triggering the House committee to investigate them, and they were also in the face of being subpoenaed or like to being investigated and brought into the House committee to testify. So one of them was Eric Swalwell, and this guy was running for governor in California, and he was the de facto winner candidate until last week, where he went from 63%, 67% of probability on poly market of winning to what do you call dropping out of the race, which is crazy. Like Trump always, and I remember Trump had a conversation with Piers Morgan late 2020, like before the election. He said 3 months is a big thing, so we got like maybe so in May, June, July, August, September, October. So 6 months is going to change a lot of things in California's race. We have in California we have a big governor's race coming in for November elections, and then Eric Swalwell, this guy has was the de facto winner, but unfortunately, fortunately, it was a good thing that his abuses and everything that's happened. A lot of people around him who worked for him has also given statements to the FBI and all those people, and now they're investigating. So along with this turmoil, he had to resign because if he wouldn't be winning the election, of course, and then he shouldn't be serving any. I mean, this is like pedophile, the whole Epstein scandal thing. So anyone who is on the Epstein file should resign. I mean, Eric and Tony also set a stage where if you feel guilty of doing it, or at least if you don't want to be, if you want to be the truth, if you want to say, okay, if you don't feel it's the right thing to serve the Congress, then it should apply to all the other people that were on the Epstein Island. So that's what I feel like, which has not happened. And I mean, on one hand, I would praise them for resigning them, showing that okay, going through this process of hearings and court allegations, and going through all this rather than just saying I didn't do anything, which is great. And if they have been found guilty, then they would be put into jail or whatever. But this has to be the precedent set by other people who are at the Congress and the Senate and the people who are at the bigger position that were linked to Epstein file. So that was this is the disappointment I have. And then we also saw Tony Gonzales. Also, he admitted to inappropriate relationship with his staff members, which violates the Congress ethic rules. So Tony was also politically pressured by the Republican Party to withdraw and resign his seat. So Tony Gonzales was from the Republican Party, and Eric Swalwell was from the Democratic Party. And Swalwell was planning to run for governor till last week, and he dropped out. And now Tom Steyer has taken off, and he's a billionaire. He was the one who built a lot of detention camps and centers for illegal immigrants. So he is more likely now. He is at 67%. Now he got the Teachers Association's endorsement last week, this week I think, beginning of this week. So let's see where he goes. I don't know them. I have heard about Eric Swalwell a little bit. I thought he might be a good candidate, but Tom Steyer, I don't know. And then we got Katie Porter from the Democratic part, and then we got from the Republican part Stephen Hilton, who was the previous Orange County sheriff, I believe, or Riverside County sheriff, who is running for election. So it's more likely to a Democrat to win, but we don't know. Things could change in 2024. The presidential election, California turned more towards red, but if you look at all the pollings now, because of the war in Iran, the prices are going up. They are more likely to stay blue, I would say, for the governorship. And we don't know. 6 months is a lot of things. Like Trump always says, anything could happen in politics in 6 months. So we don't know. But there is also an opportunity where we can elect a young governor who can really make a lot of change in California, especially fixing the railroad that they were trying to do, like stop that whole project, rather than asking for another $100 billion to fix it. And tackling homelessness crisis, we also need to figure out, how we can tackle the gas prices. It's going up. California pays a lot of money for gases. And then taxes, we have 14% taxes. Maybe we can reduce that a little bit. And we got California yesterday. I saw it was tax day a couple of days ago, where California paid $250 billion to the federal. Federal pays a lot. California pays a lot to the federal. So people might want to be nice to us in West Coast. So just FYI. So hope you all did the tax. Speaking of tax, one greatest thing that Trump did was, which I was a big fan, no tax on tips and overtime. Over 30 million Americans will receive a reduction, received benefit tax reduction over tips and overtime. And around 5.7 million American workers claimed tips tax exemption because the state allowed 25,000 to annual tips not to be taxed, which is great, because if you look at people who work at bartending or like malls or strip clubs, they make a lot of money on tips rather than daily wages. So I think it's a great thing, and 25,000 is a good start. Hopefully, I know bartenders that make over 100,000, but half of them is tips. So probably now they might pay less tax, which is great, right? So I wish they could increase it to 50,000 gradually, and it's a good start. And this is where I think Trump needs to focus, rather than going after Iran, the war, and going after Pope Leo, which was the ridiculous thing that I want to talk about next. Is that Pope Leo, why? He's the Holy Father and holiness for all around the world. The Catholics, 2 billion people in this world follow him almost, and I think 1.3 or something. So people follow him, and why would you go and mock him and then mock Jesus? Like Jesus is a god for some people, Jesus is a king for some people, and Jesus is a prophet for a lot of people. So why are you trying to I don't know, why would you go and attack half the world population? there has to be some standard. Okay, you got to be a president, and some things you don't say. Yes, you can, have fun and talk and make memes, but you got to understand, some things you're losing the presidential office, like having that moral ground. You're bringing that bar so low, like anyone can become the president and be a stupid, like look like an idiot, like you are not. But it's just that, why would you do all those things? And particularly going after Pope Leo. I saw another poll. Pope Leo has 40% above the water on Americans, and Trump is minus, below the water, 14 points. So that's the big difference, right? More people like Pope Leo than President Trump. So he needs to understand that. I don't know what's going on in his head. And Trump responded him saying he's weak on crime. Pope is just trying to do his thing. He's trying to just, tell the whole world, be peace, no wars. That's what he is meant for. And you cannot go around and mock him or say something. You can you can talk to him in private and say something, but not publicly, where you have almost 70 million Catholics in America. They're all going to get angry, and that's going to impact really on midterms election. You're going to lose the Senate. You're at 57% last I checked on Kalshi. This goes on, you will be impeached and removed, because 67% means 57% means they're going to get 57 votes. So it's 100%, right? Out of 100%. So if it goes on and on and on, they're going to lose a lot of Senate, and it could be a lame duck presidency for President Trump in the last 2 years of his presidency. So which we need to stop at all cost, right? Try to figure this out. This create a rare public conflict between the president and a pope, which is not nice, which is not, I don't know. Pope Leo is, a pope is advocating for peace, being nice, and yada yada yada. Those are things of, he's spreading love and harmony. That's his role. Why would you go and say him is weak? And I have no idea. Hopefully, people around the president, at least give him some idea. So let's get to the big talk. What has happened to in the Iran U.S. peace talk that happened in Islamabad? First of all, a big congratulations for Pakistan to pulling this. We also heard that China also forced Iran to join the peace talk. I see. So from the United States side, they got J.D. Vance, Jared Kushner, Steve Witkoff. We also had, and the U.S. team, 30 members of people were decided. And then on Iranian side, we had Mohammad Bagher Ghalfi. He is the parliament speaker. Then Abbas Agachi, he is the foreign minister. They also had 70 members of their team. Pakistan played a clear role in it, and it was led by Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif and Army Chief Asim Munir. So Army Chief Asim Munir, I think he's also headed to Tehran this week to figure out the talks failed. The goal of the ceasefire was the goal of the talk was to the goal was the ceasefire, de-escalation, but the talks collapsed quickly. Key disagreements include military withdrawal, sanctions, regime influence. Both sides blamed each other basically, and increasing tension instead of reducing them. This failed to reduce chances to quickly end to the conflict, and new talks are happening again around April 16th and 18th right now as we are speaking in Pakistan. But I don't know who is going to be. I think probably Jared Kushner and maybe J.D. Vance. Is J.D. Vance is going to go back? I don't know. Is J.D. Vance back in Pakistan? No, but he has already returned. But who is in, let's see, Pakistan for the new talks? So I think there is a delegation. There is an American delegation, And so now it's going to be with, okay, so now what they're doing is that now they're trying to talk between Iran. So Pakistan is having a one-to-one discussion with Iran, and then probably they would have a discussion with the U.S., then try to figure out what they can do regarding this. But I also feel like, and then that also leads to, why is Jared Kushner over there? He's not part of any government delegations, but he has direct linkage. He could bring a conflict of interest. I don't think he should be there. He's not a government employee, and that also caused a lot of problems. First term, during Trump's first term, that why is he going there, and there is, and Trump's Jared Kushner, they all grew up with Netanyahu and everyone back in the old days. I think so. They went to school or something like that. They are the kids and everything. So this is a big question mark that we have to ask. Why is a non-government employee who is there on big talks in the United States? Steve Witkoff can handle it. JD Vance was there. So I don't know what really happened. Maybe America failed. Maybe Iran had too much demand. This war needs to come to an end, which then goes to the other discussion that we're going to have now, is that why now we're having President Trump now said they had another blockade opening up to a U.S. blockade on the Strait of Hormuz, where they are going to, since the peace talk failed, now U.S. has blockade the Strait of Hormuz from the big part of this choke point after their blockade. So now Trump today posted saying the Strait of Hormuz is open, but I don't think any ships are going because nobody's insuring it. So the main big problem is the London insurers. They are not insuring the vessels because if anything happens, then they have to have insurance to take a big oil, it's big full of oil. So basically it can burn anywhere. A lot of people can die who are inside the ship. So the U.S. Navy has begun controlling and inspecting ship entering or leaving Iranian waters. Some vessels have been turned back or delayed, especially those suspected of supporting Iran. And then Trump warned this hostile ship could be destroyed immediately, making it a very aggressive move. And I feel like this could work in the U.S. Turn point, but at what cost? Iran is ready to, have big sacrification in terms of the Strait of Hormuz. That's their nuclear power, nuclear weapon. Basically, they're using it. They're choking the whole global economy. 20% of the global economy is going to ripple. And today we saw the interest rates go up. The inflation is at 3.5% or 4%. And everything is going up. Why? Iran has won this war, I would say, strategically, not militarily, because militarily United States and Israel are great. They have destroyed a lot of the key places and radar system and all those components that needs to be, the whole air defense is gone for Iran. But now this whole question is that why would the big economic disaster would be a big, and now will be it's already been a big disaster. Wait till 30% of the global fertilizer market gets hit, where then it's gone. There's going to be a big recession that will lead into a depression 2.0. So you have to be very careful what's going on. And then we also saw that Iran is trying to choke point the Red Sea with Houthis, and that's going to be a big another disaster. Imagine the Suez Canal, that where you cannot pass through it. Done. Don't even think about it. Do you ever remember that during that whole Evergreen ship getting ship getting blocked, where they couldn't, there was a big economic disaster for 2 weeks. Imagine if there was a blockade on the Red Sea. It's gone. I'm telling you, it will be another big choke point. Let's see what will happen. What will happen if Iran blocks, let's see, the Red Sea? So the global economy, right? Let's see what will happen. If Iran or its proxies were blocking the Red Sea, the global economy would face a nightmare scenario. With the Strait of Hormuz partially closed as of April, a secondary blockade on the Red Sea would serve two of the world's most critical energy and trade arteries simultaneously. Massive trade disruption will happen. And then for adding 2 weeks to our journey time, drastically increasing fuel cost, and it's going to add 2 extra weeks for every vessel to cross through this side from South Africa and Cape Town Point. I don't know, the barrel of oil could be passing $200. And I don't know if that's what Trump wants to happen. I don't know if that's what is going to happen. But you have to be aware of that. And that would be 40%, 40 to 50% of global economy being choked at that point. What percentage of global, this is going to be economy relies on that point. So it says, okay, so 15%, okay, 30% of the global economy will be gone. That means $1 trillion will be wiped out every day, and the whole world cannot take that. And if that blockade happens, we are gone. And I hope we fix this thing and get back and figure out a deal like a JCPO or something like that. And why? And it's just crazy. I don't know. I'm just losing my shit here, because why would this happen? And I don't know. It's just like 40-50% of it's like an unnecessary war. I hope people who are listening to this and people who are thinking, please, I mean, I don't know if the Trump administration is going to listen. You don't want to strangle a global economy, and you don't want the whole world to start hating the United States. It's already happening, and it will be a disaster. You will be gone in 2 years, and we have to suffer the consequences for more longer. And remember, if these things all continue before till the FIFA and after the FIFA, you are done. We cannot think about winning 2026, and 2028 will be also far from reality from happening. So hopefully we all come to a common sense of agreement and to end this blockade and to end everything, so that we can get back to the life and bringing back the economies, lifting up livelihood, those things that President Trump ran on to win the election, and the pro-peace ticket. I don't know where is the pro-peace ticket right now. On the other hand, we saw Israel having direct talks with Iran, Lebanon, when they started attacking after the ceasefire. So what happened was there was direct high-level talk. Since the 1993, these countries are technically enemies for no more formal peace. Lebanon and Israel held direct talks on April 14th in Washington, their first such meeting in decades. Hosted by Marco Rubio, the discussion focused on ceasefire efforts for border security and reducing conflict with Hezbollah. Talks were facilitated by the U.S., but major disagreements, especially over disarming Hezbollah. While the meeting was historic, no major agreement happened. So Israel is bombing the shit out of Lebanon, south of Lebanon. 1 million people displaced. 300 of nearly 1,000 people got killed. I have no idea. By the way, Israel has nuclear weapons. They can just, they don't have to be worried about anything. And I feel like the best option could be give nuclear weapons to Lebanon and Iran. Everything will be solved. I think that's the best option. Or take all the nuclear weapons from everywhere. Either one of them should happen. Because look at North Korea. North Korea is looking at this and thinking, look, I am safe now because I have nukes. Nobody's going to come and touch me. So that's the precedent we are setting now. And that's going to be crazy. Anyway, so let's get into the Hungary election, which I was talking about. For the first time in 16 years, Viktor Orbán's corrupt regime got defeated by his own friend who was with him and started a party called TISA party that was center-right and pro-European under the leadership of Péter Magyar, who became the Prime Minister of Hungary. President of Hungary, Prime Minister, right? I don't know. Prime Minister of Hungary last week. He won the election in a landslide victory between 54% of the vote he got. His party secured almost 138 seats out of 199 seats, which is 2/3 majority, super majority, that he can do anything. Remember, this guy was part of Orbán's team when he started. So it's not that someone new. He's from the right, but he's center right, which is a good thing. I always like, I'm kind of center right. And he is set to become the new prime minister of Hungary. A two-third majority means he can change the constitution, which is very powerful. His main goal is to restore ties with European Union, fight corruptions, and also reform courts, media, and government system. I think the whole Trump mega movement is collapsing. This is the beginning of the end of the whole right, I would say, the whole mega, because Trump is also going to go, he's also going to be gone in 2 years' time. So why did he lose? Why did Orbán lose? Because a lot of economic problems, corruption scandals, growing anger over authoritarian style ruling, and strong support between young voters. Strong support from young voters went minus 65% voted under 30 voted under for mayor. So that's a great crazy thing which has happened in Hungary. So I think this could be the beginning of the end of the whole far right movement in the whole world, which started in 2016 with President Trump getting elected in the first term. So with that, let's move into the other crazy topic to our neighbors that has happened is Canada. Let's talk about Canada. So Canada recently had an election. As you all know, Mark Carney got elected, but he did not have a majority of government. But as of on April 13th, Mark Carney secured a majority government in the parliament after key by-election wins. His party, the Liberal Party, crossed over the required 170 seat over 338 seat to have full control of the House of Commons in Canada. Because of this, his government was a minority. Before this, his government was a minority government, which he couldn't do anything, meaning on depending on support from other parties to pass laws. With the majority of government, Carney can now pass legislation more easily and approve budgets, implement policies without constant negotiating with the opposition party. This is a significant move to Canada. You have to understand, when he won, people were like skeptical about him, but now people are more optimistic. He has done a lot of things. He's setting the stage. Could be like Trump is the crazy guy, the child with some I don't know what metaphor I could use, but something like that, and he's like the big boy in the whole global space. And there's a poll I saw by Global Statistica where Carney was most liked world leader now, which is crazy. And he's a great leader, and he is. I don't agree with a lot of his policies, but a lot of Canadians should follow him because he has stood fast for Canada. He has bought Canada's pride, and this whole 51st state, yada yada yada. Canada is bullied by the United States for no reason, which we shouldn't have done for you guys. So for Canadians, you all are listening, you have to support Carney, even though you might not agree with him. He's standing for you guys up for Canada's policies and Canada's pride in the global stage for not giving up. Being said that, hopefully this is the first time since 2019 the Liberal Party had a majority government, which is going to change a lot of things, which hopefully Carney does a great job where it doesn't turn into a communist Justin Trudeau 2.0. So hopefully that happens. And this is another development that has happened that I wanted to talk about, is that Italy, the Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni, has stopped all defense agreements renewal with Israel on April 14th. That means announced that they will suspend automatic renewal of its defense agreement with Israel that's supposed to be renewed in April in 2026. What this agreement is, originally signed in 2003, since 2026, automatic renewal every 5 years that covers military cooperation, weapons trade, technology and research and training of armed forces. Why did Italy stop? Italy's really got angry, especially with Israel, on the recent actions, military actions, especially civilian casualties in Lebanon and Gaza incident where Israeli forces fired at nearly Italian UN peacekeepers in Lebanon. So that's what triggered. I think it's very crazy to say that one person, Benjamin Netanyahu, is taking the whole Jewish community down the rabbit hole and losing their whole support for the global face. And I don't understand why the Israeli people are still voting for him. They should vote him out and elect a great leader. Because of you all, because of him, you all are facing a lot of problems, raising anti-Semitism, raising all those things, because this one man wants to be on power along with Smotrich and Ben-Gvir. I don't understand. Put this guy on jail and elect a new prime minister. If not, you will lose a lot of support. The support in America for you all are going down, 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 down. Hopefully, you guys make the change and send him out and elect a center right person or center left. I don't care. But if this continues, you have to understand the pendulum swings really quick, right? So from October 7th and October 8th of support for you guys, it has swung back all the way, and which is going to be really bad for the entire Jewish community in the whole world and Israel as a country, because you are losing global support. If you lose global support, it's really, really hard to get back that support, especially your long-lasting allies like Canada, Germany, France, UK, Italy. It's going to be a big blow for you guys. Hopefully you guys kick this guy out and elect a new leader that can bring change and optimism and bring a solution for all these wars, and you don't have to run to your bunkers. You don't have to do all those things, and you guys have nukes, so you don't have to worry about anything. If anything happens, just nuke the other country. That's it. Why do you have to worry? So I hope this all comes to an end, and I want this all to come to an end, because pricing, cost, everything, the whole world is in shambles, and you don't want the whole AI, we have to be excited of what's happening around the world. We have to be excited. We are the AI races. We have to be excited of what's happening in technological world. We have to be excited about that we are living in the 21st century, that you can live longer and enjoy life rather than fighting for stupid things like we use. I don't understand. Anyway, so with that, hope you all have a nice weekend, and I'll talk to you all soon next week. Please like us, subscribe us, and share us if you can. Then thank you so much for joining Every Degree Matters, and I'm your host, Saffran Magyar.